On today's episode, when it seemed like the front court would be thin in Washington this upcoming season, things changed very quickly. We'll break it down here on Locked On Wizards.
You are Locked On Wizards, your daily Washington Wizards podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
DC family, this is Locked On Wizards, where you're part of our family. We thank you for making Locked On Wizards your first listen each and every day, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day, alongside DC Sports content creating savant and credentialed media member for the Washington Wizards. It's Abdullah Ayubi. I'm Ben Strober, and I cover all things DC Sports for 106.7 The Fan and the T980. Today's episode is brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Not a slow news day whatsoever here in the district, Abdullah. I know that's always a good thing for you and I, but today was a good day for the basketball team here in our nation's capital. The front court, which seemingly had no depth prior to today, suddenly gets a big boost with two guys coming back. One of them who re-signs, and Tristan Vukčević, the restricted free agent, is back on a two-way contract with the Wizards. And then an old friend returns to town after taking a hiatus from here for a couple of months after he was traded to Memphis. Marvin Bagley III is back in our nation's capital. He will be the backup center here in Washington. Abdullah, all I can say is, wow, this is something you and I had been expecting to happen for a while with the Vukčević re-signing, of course, but also one thing we were wondering was when Will Dawkins would address the massive hole that is the front court for this Washington team. And we know that it's a strategic thing, and obviously Bagley is not the answer for them long-term at the center position, but you think to yourself, you got to have somebody to at least give you some depth, because right now you have Richaun Holmes at least in your back pocket with $250,000 of his contract guaranteed, but he's on an expiring deal as well. Well, I think they do one better here by bringing Marvin Bagley back. I think he gave them great energy off the bench during his time in Washington last season, and it wasn't a super productive year for him by any means with Washington or Memphis, but to get him back to come off the bench, I think is something they really needed here for this upcoming season.
Will Dawkins cooking, man. He continues to cook. Today, first the Vukčević news, and now you bring back Marvin Bagley, a familiar face. I freaking love it. I didn't think Marvin Bagley was a potential candidate out there because you traded him away 5 months ago. I thought Thomas Bryant, Bol, Nick Richards, those were options available. But Will Dawkins doing what he does best and finding a way and getting a guy that he could fit that depth piece that we need here in Washington. Marvin Bagley, like you mentioned, had some solid performances here. Obviously, it wasn't an all-star, but I was a big fan of him coming out of Duke. I mean, it is what it is at this point of his career. I think he could be really, really good off that bench, a 7-footer who can be really, really good in the paint. And bringing back Tristan Vukčević, a guy that I really, really love. Last time a second-round pick that has been so productive, Thomas Satoransky, Ben. The previous regime, second-round picks being productive was just not a thing. And that's what we love to see. And that's what Will Dawkins is trying to emulate here. And bringing back TV, I think he's only going to get better. I think he needs to get more aggressive defensively, be in the paint more, get more rebounds. I can't wait to see the future of this front court. I think even backcourt too, but talking about the front court, I love how you bring in TV and on the same day you bring in Marvin Bagley, because this whole week, these past couple of days, honestly, past couple of weeks after the draft, it's like big man. What are we doing? Well, there you go. You get a depth piece in Marvin Bagley, and you bring him up. I don't know. We don't know the logistics of the contract yet, so we'll have to see. But I love the moves today.
Yeah, no reporting yet from anybody on what the contract looks like. I'd imagine it's pretty cheap. And one thing that we'll get into here in a moment is what happens next with Richaun Holmes. The Wizards would be able to save some money if they did waive the bench depth piece for the Wizards at the center position. But real quick, shout out to our guy, Greg Finberg from the Wizards podcast and Bullets Forever. He dropped this tweet 2 hours ago, and I'm going to read it here, so be sure to check him out on Twitter at Greg Finberg. Will Dawkins turned Marvin Bagley and Johnny Davis, of all people. Johnny Davis, everybody. Remember him? You might not even remember him because he did absolutely nothing here, despite being a 10th overall pick. Or you remember him because of how bad he stunk. So Bagley, Davis, and the 2025 second-round pick turned into what now is Will Riley, the number 21 overall pick from this past draft. Jameer Watkins, who was picked by this Wizards franchise at number 43. 2029, 2031, and 2032 second-round picks. Marcus Smart, who's someone that I do expect to not be here by the time the season starts. I think he's someone the Wizards do eventually move to a contending team. His contract situation better favors the Wizards to move him to hopefully pick up some more assets. And then Dylan Jones, the former first-round pick who joined the Wizards just a week and a half ago. And then the Wizards are able to re-sign Marvin Bagley 5 months later. So shout out to Greg for detailing all of that stuff right there. But how about the moves we have seen from Will Dawkins? Everything that is done is with a purpose. Every move we have seen the front office make always ends up coming back and everything comes full circle with the moves the Wizards have made. We've seen it in multiple different examples with guys who have been traded either for ancillary picks in the future or moved. For instance, acquiring Cam Whitmore last week, that was only possible because of some trades the Wizards made to get those second-round picks that they were able to give up to Houston. So it just goes to show you that every move is being made with the future on the mind of Will Dawkins. And it's been very refreshing to see a front office that moves, with a ton of purpose, a ton of reason for everything it does. They're not just making moves to make them, like trading for washed up veteran players, trading young for old. Everything is being done with the future in mind.
And that's just something we haven't seen with the previous regimes with Tommy Shepard, Ernie Grenfell. And if you're still a Will Dawkins doubter, I just don't know what should we say anymore. Obviously, what he's done, great. We have to see results. Don't worry, the results are going to come. But with these moves, I mean, it's just nothing that you've seen these past couple of decades in Washington. It's a whole new regime, and they just know what they're doing. Like you mentioned, full circle moment. The tweet that Greg put out, just amazing. That just emulates what Will Dawkins is trying to do here. He's building something special, and we'll just have to wait and see in tomorrow's first Summer League game. I can't wait.
Yeah, that's exactly right. The time that you're watching this as the audience, it is Summer League game day. So happy game day to everyone. Finally get a chance to see some Wizards basketball, see the Rooks and some of the second-year guys in action. I'm really looking forward to watching Sar go up against Kaman Malawach for Phoenix, but we'll tap into that there in the second and third segment. Now, moving forward with the moves that were made by the Wizards organization today, Abdullah, there's one thing that is still evident and is on my mind at the moment is there's still 18 players rostered right now. And I know there's moves that we do expect, whether it's Marcus Smart, Corey Kispert, some of the likes of those guys getting traded. I think Rashawn Holmes is definitely a candidate to get waived at this point because he's got the $250,000 guaranteed. I think if they were able to waive him, that would save them a pretty substantial amount of money. But Rashawn Holmes, I almost do have some reservations about removing him from this organization because he is a decent glue culture guy that you could have here. He plays extremely hard. He's one of those hard-nailed, tough basketball players around the rim for this Wizards team. He started some games toward the end of the season, but are you getting the same exact thing with Bagley? Maybe. So if you can make the argument to me that Bagley is pretty much the same thing, if not better and a little bit younger than Rashawn Holmes, then I can understand that. And, I've got no problem if they choose to move on from Rashawn Holmes ahead of the year. I think the moves they've made today with having Vukčević back, especially because he's a guy that's going to get a lot more playing time and a much larger role this year, most likely, it would not be a big deal if they are to move on from Holmes or if they're able to trade him, of course, for assets. That would also be phenomenal.
And I think that's what's going to happen. I think Rashawn Holmes, Corey Kispert, I think they're one foot out of the door in DC. And it is what it is. It's all about the youth movement. That's something that we're always talking about. And going back to Tristan Vukčević, I really, really think 9 points in 14 minutes routinely. If you give him that 20 to 25 minutes per game, which I'm hoping this upcoming year, you're going to see a drastic difference in his game. And I legit can't wait. I've been a fan of him ever since they won that second-round pick. He was in that Bilal Coulibaly draft class, and I'm hoping Bilal takes that year 3 jump offensively too. So a lot of things to look forward to in year 3 of this rebuild, but this is a great start. Will Dawkins, a lot of people have been hounding him saying, yo, what are we doing in the front court? What's up with no depth? We're going to get killed in the paint again. He did it in one day, answer those questions.
So I don't expect anyone that was brought back today to start for this team, unless maybe you do see a combination where the Wizards want to play bigger, and then you go Sar and Vukčević both starting on the floor. I suppose that is a possibility But then you're obviously not going to have one of your guys on the floor, and whether it's Keyshawn George or someone else. I know there's a lot of ideas that float him around in the starting lineup, playing the 4, I guess, with Bilal at the 3, Trey at the 2, Bub at the 1, then CJ McCollum in the mix for that as well. But if that is the case, the Wizards are probably still going to struggle to rebound the basketball if it's just Sarr on the floor by himself. So it's going to be interesting because they're almost going to be a better rebounding team when the bench comes in, because I think Bagley and Vukčević are better rebounders at this point than Alex Sarr is. That could be subject to change, and I'm not sure how those guys, or how Sarr specifically, will develop as a rebounder this year. But it's going to be interesting to see what kind of lineup combinations they go with here, if they do choose to play small most of the time. But now they do have the option to play bigger at certain times, and now you can be a little bit less worried about having to just really rely on Sarr playing out there as the 5 every night.
Yeah, and I think that's just something we're going to have to see Alex Sarr be that aggressive 5 that we think he can be. He needs to be in the paint more, put his back to the basket, make a move. As a 7-footer, you got to be averaging at least 8 to 9 or 10 plus rebounds a game. You're the tallest guy on the court. You got to go up there, box out, and grab it. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see this year 2 sophomore jump of Alex Sarr from where he was in the summer league as his first year, going into his first year, to now. It's just a whole night and day difference, and it's going to be exciting.
Absolutely. Summer League begins tonight at the time you are watching this tip-off at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. The vets for the Washington Wizards are out and about in the Sin City, Las Vegas, providing some tips to the youngsters. We'll give you the details next here on Locked On Wizards. Have you ever decided at the last minute to head to a ball game with friends or family? Maybe it's game day and you suddenly realize you want to be in the stands. That's exactly where Gametime comes in. It's the easiest way to grab last-minute tickets without the stress. With the money you save on tickets, you can splurge on food, drinks, merch, or even invite a bigger group to come with you. Gametime makes it possible. Gametime makes buying tickets fast and simple. Prices on the apps actually drop the closer you get to first pitch. And they've got incredible last-minute deals, clear seat views, and a lowest price guarantee that takes the worry out of buying. Gametime is the official ticketing partner of Locked On MLB, making it easy to browse the app for an exciting upcoming MLB game. Nationals going back to town here in a little bit, new era with the new general manager and manager for that matter as well. So looking to get some tickets there. Gametime has last-minute tickets and zone deals for big savings, like 10% off exclusive zone deals for FIFA Club World Cup matches. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKDOWNNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download the Gametime app today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Abdullah, we got Summer League on tap tonight, something that is just such an awesome thing here for rookies and young players in the NBA, because it gives you that first welcome to the league moment. You really get the feel for playing at a higher speed, at a higher level of competition. And the Wizards have been very, very busy in terms of preparation and camp prior to the Summer League experience. And courtesy of our guy, Josh Robbins of The Athletic, who has been boots on the ground in the Sin City to cover the Wizards in the Summer League. Check him out on Twitter at Joshua B. Robbins. Excellent Wizards coverage year-round for The Athletic. So as he's been there, he details that the Wizards have their own practice facility in Vegas during the Summer League that incentivizes veteran players to spend time and work out with the Summer League squad. So today, from what he reported, CJ McCollum, Bilal Coulibaly, and Justin Champagnie were in attendance at the practice sessions with the youngsters that are there for the Summer League team. And Abdullah, you and I talked about it on the episode a couple of nights ago. Do you think these veteran players are tuned into these Summer League games, reaching out to some of the younger players and letting them know the observations that they're able to make? They're there. Like, some of these dudes are physically there right now. CJ McCollum, who just got to the squad 3 weeks ago, coming over in the trade from New Orleans. This dude has probably hasn't even stepped foot on the actual court at Capital One Arena and he is in Vegas right now working with the rookies and second-year guys. That is unbelievable. That says a lot about culture and a lot about what the Wizards are trying to accomplish with these veteran players. I'm fired up for that right now.
And it's funny because CJ McCollum a couple weeks ago wasn't even on the Wizards, and he's there at Las Vegas, a 10-year veteran who just doesn't have to be there. And it just goes to show that he's buying into what Will Dawkins is building. And I freaking love it. Go there, support these young guys, show them the X's and O's, say, hey, this is how you learn from this situation. And Summer League basketball, again, don't take a lot into it, but it's just, as NBA fans, Wizards fans, it's exciting. This is we NBA championship only a month ago from now, but now we're moving on to the next season. And I can't wait to see how Trey Johnson, Bub Carrington, Alex Sarr, Keyshawn George, Will Riley, all this, Jameer Watkins. This is going to be an exciting squad to watch.
Absolutely is. There's so many different observations that I'm going to be looking out for. But with the veterans being present at the Summer League, I think this takes that experience to a new level, because I think it's always so often when you are a new player to the NBA, you get direct guidance from veteran players who have been there, been all NBA or all-star type players like CJ McCollum has. And now you're getting that hands-on experience working with them in your first practices, because technically, I guess the Summer League, it's not even really a team practice. It's not the same as training camp that comes up, of course, after the Summer League, before the season begins. I mean, this is an opportunity to really even establish some rapport, because the Wizards obviously will have a lot of their second-year guys playing, pretty much all of them, playing in the Summer League this year, with Bub, Sarr, Keyshawn George, and those guys playing in the Summer League. So this gives them an opportunity to kind of work with CJ McCollum and some of the other veterans for the first time, which I think is really interesting.
Sorry, my computer just lagged out there. But yeah, I completely agree with you. I think right now, when you're looking at the Wizards with the move of adding Marvin Bagley, you see the direction now. This team is going to be better this year, at least when it comes to win total. They're definitely going to smash that 19.5. And I think offensively, there's going to be more rhythm. Just looking at, I think there was a clip today, or it came out yesterday, the team just practicing. We haven't seen a team like this in DC of all of our years of living. It generally looks like a clean locker room, guys who are buying into the culture here, and they're going to be an exciting team to watch. They might not be a great team, a contending team, but they'll be fun, and that's what we want to see in Wizards basketball. We want to see winning, but first, let's have some fun, and then on the way, you're going to build a contender.
Yeah, I think everything is a process, of course, establishing culture, establishing an identity. The Wizards so far have done a pretty nice job at doing both those things. I think with the culture, we have seen how veteran players have bought into adapting to a new role, something they're not used to at this point in their career, because players like Chris Middleton, Marcus Smart, and CJ McCollum, who have been around the block, and of course, Chris Middleton is an NBA champion in this league, and you go to a situation where there is no expectation to win, you have to imagine how difficult that could be as a player to leave a contending team to go to a team that is actively in the ethical tank. But it says a lot about those guys they've brought in, and I think it was done with a complete purpose, because they knew these would be the right guys to help guide the younger players into the light that is kind of prospering here at the next level in the NBA. And eventually these guys will be rewarded, sorry about that, by being shipped off to contending teams.
Yeah, I think just, again, going back to the direction here compared to last year, where you saw a guy in Kyle Kuzma, who I'll keep mentioning it, just to say a locker room cancer was the least. It wasn't meshing well with the young guys, the body language off the court, and then also taking reps from the younger guys. After he gets traded, 24 hours later, Bilal Coulibaly gets his first career triple-double against the Brooklyn Nets. So to see now veterans and Chris Middleton, Marcus Smart, CJ McCollum, not too long ago, wasn't even a Wizard, and is going up there in Summer League and watching these guys play, it just goes to show the direction of this team.
Summer League begins tonight against the Phoenix Suns. What are Abdullah and I looking for throughout the first matchup, and as the Summer League continues on in Vegas? We tell you all of those things, from positions to just certain skill sets from our Wizards going forward. That's next here on Locked On Wizards. With Summer League underway, we got a comment earlier today. Shout out to everyone that commented on yesterday's video, expressing a lot of confidence, actually, in the Wizards. Abdul, I don't know if you were able to go through all the comments and read. I read a good majority of them. People seem to be pretty optimistic about the Wizards smashing that 19.5 win total put out by FanDuel. And one of the comments we got saying, can you break down who we know is going to play in the Summer League and what exactly we should look for from those players? And we're going to do that for you right here, starting with the point guard in Bub Carrington. Now, I was listening to the Grant and Danny show a couple days ago on the Beltway Blitz. Varun Shankar, the Washington Post reporter for the Washington Wizards, happened to be on there, and they asked him how much they expected a lot of these guys to play. And Varun's answer was pretty confidently he thinks a lot of these year two guys will play around 2 games, most likely. So that's why I'm really keyed in, especially on the first contest here against Phoenix. I want to see what Bub Carrington looks like as a primary ball handler. He had to do so much playing off the ball last season, which was really interesting because I thought he excelled pretty well at that role. He is a known shooter. Him and Trey Johnson have been going at it time and time again throughout the training camp process and shooting competitions. But now we're going to see him as a ball-dominant player. What does that look like? How good is he at getting downhill or creating his own shot? I know he is that step-back game. Saw him snatch a couple soles and ankles last year.
Whoa, Tyrese Halliburton was one of them.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. He did snatch Tyrese Halliburton's ankles at one point. I want to see more of that with him because I think he's a guy that has great skill with the basketball in his hand. We just didn't really get the opportunity to see that as much in the regular season last year. And in the Summer League, obviously going up against slightly lesser competition than you would in NBA regular season. Bub Carrington, who played in all 82 games. So been around the block. This will be a big opportunity for him, and I expect him to excel tonight.
I expect right after tip-off to go to the hole, get to the free throw line, allow Bub Carrington. I think him being aggressive, just tell these young guys that, hey, I played 82 games already. I'm going into my sophomore year. I'm going to go out there and dominate this summer league because I'm the best player on the court. You got to have that mentality, and I think he can with that mid-range jump, that mid-range shot that he has, the three-point shot that he has, the pick and rolls with Alex Sarr, the big man. I want to see that. I want to see an aggressive Bub Carrington, and I think just the tenacity that he brings, the mentality, being from Baltimore, you put all that together, you have a true dog, and I think he can be a true point guard. And I want to see how him and Trey Johnson play off each other. Will it be more of Trey Johnson, coming off screens for three-pointers? Could they have a 1-2 tandem that could be really interesting to see come the Summer League? It's going to be a lot, and this is just previewing what we're going to see in the regular season because, again, these guys are going to be the ones, this young Wizards Summer League squad is a lot of these guys are going to get a lot of minutes come the regular season.
And Abdullah, there's one thing tomorrow that I absolutely cannot see. I think it would make me a little bit sick to my stomach, and not because the competition is weak by any means. And Kaman Malawach, the number 10 overall pick for the Phoenix Suns this past season. I can't see Alex Sarr get dominated by Kaman Malawach tomorrow. I think this is really, even though it is a Summer League game, it doesn't mean a whole lot in retrospect, but I want to see Alex Sarr, take it to the rookie and Kaman Malawach. We don't want to see a passive-looking Alex Sarr tomorrow night. And I know Malawach is a guy that's going to float around. He'll play in the paint a whole lot, protecting the rim, but he's also going to try to stretch the floor. They're going to have him out there trying to stretch and shoot three-point shots. I really need to see an aggressive Alex Sarr, somebody that goes and gets himself in good position to get rebounds, has a fearless approach, taking it to the basket like he did in the final quarter of the season. If he gets dominated in some regard by Kaman Malawach, I would be disappointed tomorrow.
No, I agree with you. And if you're Alex Sarr, no easy buckets. I'm pretty sure, Ben, you have, 10 fouls to get fouled out? I saw some guy getting fouled out in Summer League. So no freaking easy buckets, man. I don't want to see Kaman Malawach dominate you, Alex Sarr. I don't think that's going to happen. I think Alex Sarr is going to say, hey, last year wasn't the best start of my rookie Summer League. I'm going to have a good Summer League this year because I played from game 1, game 82 last year. I got better every single game, and I'm going to show Kaman Malawach why I'm going to give him my welcome to the NBA moment in the Summer League.
That would be ideal, and it's just something that's kind of been on my mind because that matchup is so intriguing to me. Moving forward, Keyshawn George, expect to see how he's able to facilitate with the basketball because I think underratedly, he's a guy that can play make for somebody at his size and his position. I know he comes off the wing and he can play a little bit at the high post, but underrated as a passer is Keyshawn George. If they're able to tap into that part of his game and get the ball in his hands with some space, I think he's a guy that opens things up for guys around him, whether that's people around the paint like Alex Sarr tomorrow, if that stretches things outside for Bub or Trey Johnson. Keyshawn George really has the potential to do a lot of things well here in the NBA. And I think it also will start with him tonight in the Summer League, working on some of the tools that we didn't see as much from him in the regular season. Everything's going to be so different this year for the Wizards because, one, they have so many dudes coming off the wing, obviously a lot less out of the front court than in past years. And also just this youth movement. This is going to be an opportunity for guys like Keyshawn George to have their opportunity to tap in to what they can really do offensively because you don't have Kyle Kuzma stealing shots from anybody anymore.
I like how you use stealing, Ben. But I agree. I think Keyshawn George last year, he also got better every game. And I think his ability, one thing I want to see, I mentioned this in the previous episode, is I want to see him not just take 3-point. I get it. You have a nice 3-point jump shot. That stroke is insane, but use that to your advantage. Pump fake, go to the rim, take a mid-range shot, or take it to the hole. That's one thing that I didn't see much of him last year. He did get better on with it from game 1 to game 82. But Keyshawn George, if he really taps that untapped potential that he has, it's going to be exciting. And again, he's the guy out of all three of last year's draft class where I just didn't know much about. I didn't know how much of an impact he was going to have as in regular season. He showed up. I remember that one game against the Phoenix Suns. He was lining it up from 3-point land. So come Summer League time, I expect him, along with Bob Cairns, Alex Hart, just be more aggressive.
Yeah, just because it's somebody you don't know a whole lot about doesn't mean they can't become an all-star level player. I mean, this is already a meme that people bring up all the time, but the best player in the world was drafted during a Taco Bell commercial, right? Jokic in a Taco Bell commercial. So you don't got to know everything about these guys, but no disrespect to Keyshawn George. He was a very good college player. You and I both just didn't know as much about him. Of course, pretty distracted with 2 other first-round picks in that class. And tomorrow's another opportunity to see Johnson and Riley go at it, see what the 2 first-round picks have this year, because I'm pretty sure that they'll hit with Trey Johnson and number 6 overall. I think they got a steal out of him. Will Riley, a lot more of a wild card. He's a much higher upside player, a guy that already is relatively polished as a scorer, but how does he translate to the NBA? If they're able to hit with that and he's able to go 6 for 6 on first-round picks to the first 3 years of the regime from Will Dawkins, you'd have to be thrilled. And it's going to be a fun opportunity to see him go at it tomorrow.
Yeah, if I'm Will Dawkins, I'm emulating that iconic image. I think it was in Gladiator when the guy was like, "Are you not entertained?" And he's saying this right now to Wizards fans. Are you not entertained from the moves that I've done? I get it. The results haven't been done yet. We still have to see, but I've put everything out there. I've put everything on the plate, and now it's time for this Wizards team to figure it out. And I think next year we'll be definitely contending for that playing spot, and then we'll go further from there. But this is going to be an exciting team. It all starts with the Summer League games. These 4 games are going to be really, really essential to see how this team plays out in the regular season.
That is exactly right. I've said tonight and today like 10 different times, so I apologize if I'm confusing.
Sorry, one last thing, Ben. Did you not? I talked about this earlier. The cheapest ticket of the Bronny versus Cooper Flag Summer League game, $250. That is insane.
I would not pay that kind of money. Never. That's unbelievable for a Summer League game. You couldn't catch me spending that kind of money. Cooper Flag, awesome. Bronny James, super cool as well. I'm not spending $250 to watch those dudes play. Not in a Summer League game.
I mean, bro.
Would you?
Not at all.
Oh,
that's
okay.
insane. $250. The cheapest ticket for a Summer League game? Are you freaking kidding me?
I don't think any Wizards Summer League tickets would cost that much money. So if you're in the Vegas area and you watch this podcast, go check out the game tonight. 9 p.m. Eastern time. Summer League tips off for the Washington Wizards. We'll have coverage of that, trying to figure out the logistics of how that all is going to work. But I know at least Abdullah will be around. I'll be on the road heading up north tonight as this comes out. But it should be fun. A lot of fun here in this Summer League. That's our show for the week. We thank you for making Locked On Wizards your first listen every single day. For your second, check out the Locked On NBA podcast where there's no off season. Doug, Matt, and Hayes keep you up to date on contract negotiations, rumors, and everything you need to know to be the most informed NBA fan. Find Locked On NBA on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day. Summer League begins. Wizards fans rejoice. Washington basketball is back on the hardwood. We'll catch you next week or whenever we talk to you next following some of these games here on Locked On Wizards. For Abdullah Ayyubi, my co-host, I'm Ben Strober. Go Wizards.